Hello and welcome back, YouTube. I just started my camera and I noticed I already had the high temperature warning on it. So sorry the angle's a little bit funny. I was trying to use the traffic view and I had to kind of twist the screen in order to see it as opposed to just seeing glare. So yeah, the angle's a little off and I'm not messing with it. The traffic's not awful, but it is pretty heavy, and I actually had some really bad congestion going through Goodyear, of all places. So it's still Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, 2:13 p.m. And I actually, for the most part, had a really great day at work today. Finally got to meet again. It was super brief, but with the guy who interviewed me. It's killing me. I can't remember the name of the furniture warehouse, but there's definitely two logistics companies working together. I don't really understand how that works, but two logistics companies working within the furniture warehouse. And I seem to be working for the smaller of the two. It looks like most of the drivers that I'm working with work for the other one. So it's kind of confusing, and they each have like separate HR, kind of separate. I don't know. It's kind of I still so many of those details I just don't understand it, and maybe I just don't ask the right questions, or I don't want to come off. I don't like to overwhelm people by asking them too many questions because I know I have a tendency to do that. I did have one moment I got a little panicky because, I know I was not in a really good mental state when I got in there this morning, but I had enough time to eat a burrito and the Mountain Dew helped. And I don't know. I guess I'm tired. I don't know whether to say the drive helped or hurt. It's kind of a mixed blessing. Like if I could enjoy it. Jesus. Oh, did y'all see that? I wonder if my camera caught that. It might not have caught very good because of the angle I got it at. But yeah, slow down on the right, and one guy did lock up his brakes and skid and lose control. Didn't hit anybody, thank God. But yeah, that happened. There's so many accidents on I-10 every day. It's just ridiculous. But to take surface streets on this little commute is ridiculous. Although lately, pretty much every time I've come home except today, I've not used I-10. And today I have worse traffic than any day I have. Now I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if I'm recovering from an accident. In fact, I just now got around to enabling traffic view on my Google Maps on my iPhone. So yeah, it's one thing that kind of sucks. I've decided to keep rolling fresh on this as opposed to restoring it from the image of the other phone, which, there's benefits and there's drawbacks. And definitely one of the drawbacks is that when I'm installing software that I use, oh gosh, I'm tired. Oh, I love this song. Yeah, this commute does not put me does not line me up with the stuff I like to listen to on KTAR on my commute. So I've landed on the wow factor. I always seem to play a mix of older stuff that I enjoy without an excessive amount of talking ads. God, I can't remember even the last time I heard "To Love Somebody" by the Bee Gees on the radio. That's kind of awesome. So I forget exactly where I hit that traffic I decided to just give up on it at Dysart. Meanwhile, I'm trying to deal with stop and go traffic and trying to enable my traffic view and get my phone to an angle where I can actually see it. And of course, I didn't really manage to do that until I got a red light getting off the freeway at Dysart. I ended up going south on Dysart to Van Buren, and then taking Van Buren across Avondale Boulevard. My struggle, and I've mentioned this many times, I struggle with things that change names. The one that always messes with me the most is the mental health clinic I go to, because it has changed names so many times, like Lifewell. I'm remembering it's Lifewell, but yeah, it's a real struggle to remember Lifewell, because I think mental health clinic, and it just, my mental health clinic, there's just so many names just tacked to it in my brain that it's a struggle. Oh nope, I don't think so. Anyway, this is not the lane I want to be in. I'm heading to the Cox store to take care of my internet bill, by the way. I was going to stop at that Costco again over there in Tolleson, or adjacent to Tolleson. It seems like I put that into Google Maps and it came back as something not Tolleson, maybe Goodyear. I really don't know the boundaries of all the far West Valley suburbs, and the kicker is, like, I kind of used to know them, but they've really changed from the time when I memorized them, and that was decades ago. Like, that was in the 90s, in the late, mid to late 1990s that I memorized all those. And as far as like memorizing all the arterial streets, all that out there, I started memorizing those in like the late 70s, but then it became really relevant to me in the late 90s. Yeah, pretty much late 90s. By 99, I guess I was a cab driver for a bit around 2000. I don't know, it's hard to remember like what years I was a cab driver. I mean, it's been most of my adult life, but then again, it's been a long time. Notwithstanding 2 years ago when I worked for 4 days and wrecked a Prius. But that's a whole separate tragedy. But I still have a really great memento from. So, kind of regretting that I've left this picture hanging in my car for so long, because it's faded in a big way from the sun. But that's hands down the coolest cab driver idea I've ever had. I bet somewhere I've still got mine from Pony Express. If I do enough searching, I'm a hoarder. I keep everything, So, but yeah, oh damn! There's a giant bit of pottery on the side of the freeway, just all shattered. I mean, it was big turn of pottery. Lost my train of thought again. Debate as to whether I want to exit Indian School or Highland. I'm down to 20% on my battery. It was down to 1% at lunch. Yeah, I've definitely got to replace this battery very soon. Although I'm not sure if I'm up to driving to Tempe today. I was going to do that, but I'm really fatigued, and it's on the cusp of when traffic going in and out of Tempe gets super shitty. I did talk to Raphael. So Raphael, I guess, is like a high up HR just me and one other forklift driver that actually worked for K-Power. All the rest of them work for the other logistics company. That I don't even know what the hell the name of that company is. It's very confusing. Anyway, Victoria, who's very petite, very cute, just thought I'd throw that out there. I'll never mix her name up again. That won't happen. I got her down. She was kind of tripping me out today because at one point she was asking me a lot of questions about how I'm doing stuff. So, and I'm always glad to share. And then at one point she's like, "Well, I'm all caught up. I don't have anything else to do." So I actually want to go straight here if I can do that. Adjust my camera where it should be since I'm finally got the red light. This is the lane that goes straight. He's going straight, I'm following him. It's been a long time since I've tried doing this maneuver to the Cox store. So I like it still says mall directory because there's not much of a mall here anymore, but this is the Camelback Colonnade, formerly known as the Colonnade Mall. It's very much a shell of its former self. There's hardly anything left of the interior mall anymore. It's been morphing to a power center over the last couple of decades. Whoa, hello security. Anyway, at one point she's just like, "Oh, I just kind of want to watch you guys work," which for me still one of the freakiest things about working there is how there's no separation from pedestrian areas and pit areas, and whatever the rules are for interacting with other pit and interacting with pedestrians, I haven't been told any. So if there are rules, I don't know what they are. And the way most everybody's been acting kind of leads me to believe that there aren't any rules. I don't know if this is the quickest way to the Cox store, but I want to go this direction. Yeah, it kind of a lot of times feels like there are no rules. Like Amazon had very strict rules, and sometimes it was a little overwhelming because I'd be so paranoid I was going to get in trouble. I mean, the last incident, I didn't feel it was an incident, but apparently Kevin felt it was an incident. Ooh, Bed Bath & Beyond closing. I think they're all closing. 20 to 50% off. Everything must go. Blah, 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 clearance. You know, I usually, when stores are like in the process of dying and blowing out super low clearance, I usually like to just grab a whole bunch of stuff that I think I can flip on eBay, do the retail arbitrage thing. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, I don't think that's a good idea this time around. But God, is it tempting.
If your needs change, switch between plans at any
now,
time.
Now this is pretty
something
meta.
Different.
Thanks. I think I'll go get something different.
Cox Mobile. We're different because you're different. Visit cox.com/mobile to learn more. Postpaid Cox internet required. Other restrictions apply.
DQ presents.
This wasn't supposed to turn into an ad for Cox, but it's pretty random that there's the ad playing as I'm approaching the actual store. There's a good parking spot. Oh, this Jeep is gonna take my spot. No, it's not. Ooh, look, Tesla. That guy looked like he was like, "Oh no, don't hit me with your beater." Oh, I'm down to 10%. That means my battery's about ready to die. That's all right. I gotta go in, handle my internet. I'll be back to explain more of what happened with the various relevant. I really don't know who all is like. It's so weird not knowing like who is in charge of who and who to ask for what and policies are. But But I've definitely been given the go-ahead that I will have the day off for court, and I forget what the date is, and that I will be able to get off at noon on Thursday, so I can participate in my meeting with Amazon. I've pretty much decided that I'm not going to, like, if I get the Amazon job back, I don't know. I am so undecided. I don't know. I'm going to try to balance both jobs. I'll figure something out. Anyway, I got to go ahead and handle my internet, and I'll be back shortly. And I'm back. I cannot believe how much time I just wasted over at Best Buy. I should really be in bed asleep right now. Just saying. It's 3:17 p.m. Still Tuesday afternoon. And I'll be honest, the reason I went over to Best Buy is I had to go to the damn bathroom. It's like, they've got to have a public restroom in there. And they did. But while I was there, when I had to browse the store, I almost bought a Surge Tankin album on vinyl. It was like $18, which I might still come by and buy that. But like, every time it's like, wait a minute, how many new records do I have just sitting on my shelf sealed that I haven't listened to? Yeah, probably shouldn't be pissing money away on that. Especially since I really don't know how big my paychecks are going to be, or when my first paycheck is going to be from K-Power Logistics. So, generally speaking, I don't like to be the guy that parks at one place at a shopping center and then moves parking spot to go to another parking spot at the same shopping center. But as you can see, I'm going through quite a bit of a drive to where I'm going. I didn't change parking spots, by the way, to go from the Cox store to Best Buy. And I was at the Cox store for quite a while. I have never seen the Cox store as busy as it was today. That was kind of unprecedented. But I did, since I heard that ad, like right as I was rolling up for Cox mobile phone, I did kind of look into some of the options on Cox mobile phone, and I might end up going with that. And yes, I've got the full year of Mint Mobile going on, but I kind of want to keep Brittany's number. And it's pretty much looking like I don't qualify for Assurance Wireless, for free service through Assurance Wireless anymore. And the reality is my prepaid service that I have with Mint Mobile, it's only 15 gigs a month. And my new employer doesn't have Wi-Fi for employees. Damn, she looks good in those shorts. So, oh, look at that. VIP parking. This parking lot is a lot of times really difficult to get into, or to get a good parking spot in. But yeah, I'm going to get some groceries, and I'm definitely getting more than I can just carry in a single bag. So I wanted to move myself closer to it. But yeah, the most anyway, yeah. The factor in that I don't have Wi-Fi at work. And I got a feeling that 15 gigs isn't going to be enough. So I got a particular salesperson who was really sweet. Handled me getting my my internet paid. Didn't have to pay a late fee. That's always a win. Yeah, she walked me, we discussed some of the options for Cox phone, and well, she couldn't go into all the details because she would have had to look it up on the computer. She was so swamped. I'm like, you know what? Today's not the day I'm going to do it anyway. So I had to look into some other stuff first, but I'm going to come in and pay my bill early in like 3 weeks, and hopefully it won't be so busy, and we can look at options. But she did say that bundling Cox mobile phone service with my already Cox cable broadband internet is an option to save me some money. So, and the prices seem really competitive. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm also thinking about maybe getting a newer phone with a better quality camera, Anyway, just things I'm pondering. Didn't actually go through with anything or any purchases other than taking care of my Cox bill, which I needed. But hey, I'm here. May as well check some stuff out. And I really did enjoy walking through Best Buy just to kind of see, hey, what's the state of new consumer electronics right now? And yeah, I still find the bulk of it pretty disappointing and not to my tastes. But I was pretty impressed with the different current home theater receivers that they had. I looked at one really nice Onkyo, and it was kind of refreshing to see that the newest model Onkyo, since vinyl has had such a resurgence, actually has an internal phono preamp. Because I felt like that had really kind of gone the way of the dinosaur. And granted, you go into the vinyl subreddit on Reddit and oh, you got to get an external phono preamp. Yeah, I've only ever used an external phono preamp if I'm setting up something to run through a receiver that doesn't have one, or for some reason it's some kind of mixer that doesn't have one. Otherwise, nah. I've never been disappointed with the phono preamp of any receiver I've had, even ones that were kind of low end, early 90s black plastic crap era, and late 80s. I've always found the internal phono preamp to be adequate for me. So anyway, kind of neat to see new home theater receivers that actually had phono preamps in them. Anyway, it's getting hot in here. I'm wasting time and my precious battery, but I'm going into Fry's. I'm not. I bought 2 Coca-Colas today, and it was like over $5 with tax. I definitely have to have soda at work to get through the shift. But yeah, that overspending stops today. And welcome back, YouTube. Well, I stayed there a whole lot longer than I anticipated staying there too. But I've really needed to do some proper grocery shopping. This seemed like the time and the place, especially since I got my Kroger app going on my iPhone. I had enough charge to keep it going, barely. I have not been to this particular Fry's in a long time. In fact, it's been so long since I've been to this particular Fry's. Oh my goodness. Almost got in the line behind her where she was checking out, and then I realized that she was some newer style self-checkout for geared towards people with more groceries. Although there was somebody standing there like helping her, but I was like, no, I really want to have a cashier, and I'm glad I did. It's had these 3 bags of Jelly Bellies that came off a rack, and it said something about Jelly Bellies, but it mentioned the variety, and it didn't mention the variety that these were. But it said that, like, the variety that, like, the tag said that a certain variety, and it was on sale for 75 cents. And normally, bags of Jelly Bellies are, oh God, I forget how much. They're usually pricey. I mean, that was like, I feel like that was like 75% off or something like that. I might regret going this way. I did not check the Google traffic before turning this direction. Wow, there's another white Tesla. That's like the 3rd white Tesla I saw today. Although there's a possibility it was one of the 2 that I saw earlier. It's not very often I go shopping in the Biltmore area. This Fry's, much like the one downtown Phoenix, just has a much more attractive than average clientele and staff as well. In fact, even like the middle-aged and older women that go in this particular Fry's just seem to be really attractive and fit. was enjoying the view while I was shopping. Not gonna lie. So yeah, I got my Mountain Dew that I wanted. Got a can of. Was wanting to get the Arizona sweet tea. Hey, there went a Waymo with nobody behind the wheel. Nice. Like it's showing up in the app that they've got the Arizona sweet tea in the 11.5 ounce cans. They're not quite 12 ounce cans, but they look like 12 ounce cans. 12 pack of that, somewhat discounted, and but the fries by my place had every variety in those cans, out of stock. This one only was out of stock of the sweet tea, which was the one I wanted. I went ahead and got the green tea, but after I'd already picked out like a gallon of the green tea, they had that on sale too. I think what I'm going to do with the green tea, I really don't know what the policy is. That's the thing, like at this place I'm working at, I don't know what most of the policies are. And then of course there's always the, you know, what the policies are versus what's actually enforced, and how it's enforced. I just don't know. Like I've heard some stuff, but I'm just wondering, was the guy training me just trying to scare me straight? They do seem to be very serious about their no cell phone policy. And again, like if anybody comes on me about it at this point, I have literally on the floor only used my cell phone to see what time it is. And once again, today, I figured out how to get the dashboard clock to come on the Raymond forklifts. I figured that out. And the Zebra scanner is an Android device, so it's in the usual place for a clock on an Android device at the left-hand corner. And both of them had the wrong time. So I'm just gonna tell them, look, I have a need to know what time it is. That's just a need while I'm working. And watches are not an option for me. They irritate my skin. Watch bands irritate my skin really, really bad. So either somebody needs to, either you guys got to allow me to look at my cell phone when I need to know what time it is, or you got to actually put some clocks that are big enough that I can see them in the building, or somebody who knows how to do it needs to set the clock on the scanners, or set the clock on the forklifts. I'm kind of tempted to try to set the one on the forklift. Unlike the controls on the Amazon forklifts. Because those clocks weren't always right, the ones on the forklift dashboards. Now, usually the clock there was I don't even know what the hell you call it. It's like an additional control panel that was added by Amazon to their forklifts that had an RFID reader that would read my ID. That's how I logged into it. Because at this place here, literally anybody can turn on a forklift and drive away on it. At Amazon, you actually had to have permissions. You had to be in the system. It was this whole procedure, and then you had to go through this like menu thing. And that computer accessory, whatever the hell you want to call it, it had a clock on it, and those clocks were usually always right. Now, they were always military time, which was awkward, but I don't know, I generally found those adequate for seeing what time it was when I was on my forklift. Plus I had the screens at just about every dock door had clocks on them as well. I mean, there are clocks everywhere at GYR3. Yeah, it does seem like I could probably set the clock myself. Of course, in order to do that, I would also have to take out my cell phone for longer than just a quick glance. I don't know. I don't want to talk to my direct supervisor about that because every time I say anything to him, he always seems like he's super busy, and I feel like I'm bugging him. But I did meet a guy today whose primary job, at least when I saw him, seems to be maintaining, like he's some kind of maintenance, like as in like RME type maintenance as opposed to, janitorial staff. And at one point he was going through all the batteries. Now, they do their forklift batteries a lot different than Amazon. Like at Amazon, they're charged at the end of every shift, and unless the policy is to plug them in at the end of every shift. I'm a little more knowledgeable on batteries and electric vehicles, so I know it can be detrimental to it to be constantly charging it if the battery is well over half full. So generally speaking, unless it was in the low 40s or lower, I didn't put it on the charger. And it's because I knew for pretty much anything other than totes, that would still be enough to get through a full shift, and just better to use up that battery than constantly charge it when it's that full and wear out the battery. I mean, not my battery. I could do like most people and just not give a shit, but I kind of care about the environment. Batteries are a big toxic sort of thing to be disposed of, so, or recycled or whatever, but I mean, just better to make them last as long as they can. Anyway, at this warehouse I'm at now, they've actually got a bunch of batteries that they hoist up onto shelves that they have charging and ready to go. And oftentimes they just swap out the batteries. Now, I'm not sure who does that or how. I'm thinking this was the guy that did it. Now, I was kind of surprised that when I told him that what I was used to doing, he's like, oh, well, you can go ahead and work that charger. I'm like, oh, cool, because I haven't seen any other drivers at this place working chargers. But apparently I said the right things for him to be comfortable to let me do that. So I unplugged one that was fully charged, and I went ahead and parked it. I had parked mine next to it. He said the cord would be long enough to reach. It wasn't. And then I went to plug it in, and it had just a slightly different connector, different enough it didn't plug in. So I asked him, and he's like, well, was it, what color is it? I said yellow. He said the other one had a gray connector. I said they look to be the same size, but there's a notch in it. So he goes, oh. He goes, well, in that case, just go ahead and leave it there. He goes, I'll try to swap out the battery on it. I really hope I get the same forklift I had today. There's definitely subtle differences between the different forklifts. The one I was on today is definitely the best out of the three that I've used. Where I got to talking about forklift batteries, but anyway. So that guy, I think that's the guy I'll ask if it's okay if I set the clock on the forklift. So, at least if he tells me yes, and then somebody's like, "What are you doing?" I could be like, "Oh, the battery forklift maintenance guy said go ahead if you know how." So I think I know how. It can't be more difficult than setting the clock on a VCR, on an old VCR. Is there any other kind of VCR at this point? Anyway, I got other groceries. I was a little lost in this store because, as I said, I haven't been there in a really long time to this particular location. And the last time I went there, they had just finished this huge remodel, and just now they're working on a minor remodel. So it's like it's been so long since I've been there that their brand new remodel has gotten old enough that they're working on remodeling. So I don't know how many years that is, but it's enough. Enough that a lot of things weren't where I remembered them being, and it's been a long time since I've been to that store. It took me forever to figure out where the hell the regular soda was. Like, I kept finding, and keep in mind, like, that's a pretty upscale part of town, the Biltmore is. Now, granted, it's kind of adjacent to some not so nice parts of town, but like I said, I'm seeing middle-aged trophy wives in there, straight up. really dangerous place to walk. If he's legit trying to raise funds for his 2 infant grandchildren, he should be helping his child that is the parent of those grandchildren, or getting custody himself, and he should be trying to get assistance, because if you've got minor children, there's plenty of assistance available. There's no reason to be being a hazard at the end of the freeway walking with a sign. There's just not. Anyway, sorry, that just rubs me the wrong way. It's a hazard I shouldn't have to deal with in the road when I'm driving. Anyway, so yeah, kind of an upscale store. So multiple aisles of like high-end expensive soda and natural soda and organic soda, if that's a thing. You know, LaCroix, like every flavor of LaCroix that exists, they've got it in stock. I'm just trying to find the goddamn Mountain Dew. I know Kroger has it on sale right now. It's showing in my app, but you got to buy three 6-packs to get the sale price. And damn, it took me a while to find that. But I found a lot of other stuff while I was looking for it, including the last chance clearance aisle. So I got some interesting stuff there. That's kind of become one of those things. Like I said, I like going. I've mentioned before. I like going to the deli last chance stuff and trying like really expensive cheeses when they're marked down, and they're still not cheap, but like they're marked down way less than the price, and it makes it affordable enough for me. But lately I've been getting lucky, and in the last chance they've had like these really good gourmet jellies, and I do like peanut butter and jelly. I do, but I really do not like grape jelly, which is kind of like the default jelly that's in the aisle, and it seems like all the other ones that they have are just expensive. And I when I can, and I don't eat a lot of peanut butter jelly, so when I can, I like to get the really high-end ones when they're on like last chance clearance sale. Still not cheap, but like it makes it affordable. Oh, so I decided I'm not going to Chase Bank as much as I really need to handle and figure out what the hell payment they declined. I'm gonna go home and see. I mean, I got groceries. I got some frozen stuff, so I can't. It's hot as hell out today, so I need to get that stuff in my freezer, in my fridge. But yeah, so I didn't make it to bed as soon as I wanted to, but I feel like I should get plenty of sleep between now and 4 a.m. And you know what? If I don't wake up until midnight, that's not a problem. It is Tuesday, so I am kind of hoping at some point I can at least go over and sing, have a beer and sing a song over at or two over at the Dirty Drummer. That's kind of become a regular spot for me. And I don't know if I mentioned the younger woman that I met there that I was really connecting with. Like the week that my whole in fact, it was the night that I got into it with the security guy and ended up getting not arrested, but put in investigative custody at the back of a cop car for like an hour in cuffs. Kind of felt like I was arrested. It was actually that night I went over there, and I think her name is Allie, which was not short for Allison, but short for something else. And I'm drawing a blank on what it was. But really cute. It seemed like we were really connecting, although she did tell me she'd been drinking. So maybe, she's like, maybe the next day she's like, oh damn, I gave some old dude my Snapchat. Anyway, she's responded to me a couple of times on Snapchat, but it's been very, very vague, very delayed, and then just nothing to follow. So I feel like she's kind of ghosting me. And again, like I just whatever. You know who I am. You know where I'm at. I'm I've asked her to join me over back there a couple more times for karaoke. It hasn't happened, you know. But if it's a spot she likes going, and the bartenders seem to know her, like, maybe I'll see her then again. Maybe I won't. But anyway, I gotta get my damn groceries in. I gotta get to bed. I'm freaking tired. And so, thanks for coming with me on this extended drive home. And thanks for watching. And of course, like and subscribe if you enjoy hearing me incoherently talk to myself.